Hi, I'm Ken Crawford, president of the Alaska Conference, and I want to show you around my Alaska. I love it here.
This is not the end of the world, but it's pretty close. I love Alaska. It's the greatest adventure you could ever imagine. If you want to find out more, go to our website, alaskaconference.org, and you'll find all kinds of information and stories on what Alaska is like.
There's a constant collision between civilization and nature because we live next to each other. There's a feeling of remoteness, not isolation, but remoteness. There is a vastness in the wilderness in Alaska. The mountains are more majestic. Nature is undisputed master. There's something about this country that sets off in me a craving for heaven. The living conditions are a challenge, I can tell you. But the needs in Alaska far outweigh the challenges of living here.
Deep in the heart of Alaska's Wrangell Mountains lies a place that is inextricably tied to the history of early 20th century America. Though gold was Alaska's primary draw, the Kennacott mines in Milltown took shape at a time when America was hungry for copper to build its infrastructure and supply its involvements in World War I. Logan Hovis is a research historian for the National Park Service. He's a leading expert on those early years in Alaskan history.
Mining is a big part of Alaska, and outside of the Juneau area, Kennacott is the dominant hard rock mining show in Alaska. It is the big draw. Anybody else coming up here wants to find another Kennacott, and they say, this is just like Kennacott, invest. There are thousands of people that go through this place. Easily 1,000 a year. The turnover rate's dramatic. It's not a place to stay with your family. You go live in a bunkhouse. If you have your family there, that means your management, or you're so highly skilled that they're willing to take special considerations to keep you there. I don't want to say everybody that worked in Alaska in that area went through Kennacott, but a lot of people did. They came out of Seattle, they came out of New York City, they came all from all over the territory. It was a place to get a job. For some people, it was their life.
One of those people was Alphonse Nicholas from California. He worked at the mine in the years before it closed. Al lived into his 90s, but because he struggled with Alzheimer's, his granddaughter Caitlin never had a chance to hear him tell stories about Kennacott. So she decided she'd spend the summer working at the lodge as a way to reconnect with her grandfather's roots.
Because my grandfather worked at the mine in the 1930s, it's been a place that my family likes to come visit, especially my grandmother. She likes to remember him since he passed away. So she's come out to the lodge a couple times. And last summer when she turned 80, she took me out here. We stayed at the lodge for about 5 days, and I got to explore the mine, the Kennacott mine, and hear some stories about my grandfather and go on some tours. He grew up in the Sierra Nevadas, so he's always been around the mountains, but Kennacott became a special place to him when he was here, and so he expressed that to my grandmother often. She said even when he had Alzheimer's, he was making comments about wanting to come back here and visit people that he had become friends with here. I think that was something in the past that I was a little bit just sad about. I felt like I hadn't gotten to know my grandfather for who he was, and I had heard a lot of great stories about the person that he was and just that he loved people and loved God. During my childhood and even after he passed, my grandmother would make comments about his time here and tell stories, but I definitely heard the most stories about him when we came here and visited the sites and the places that he had been and looked through pictures together. So that was the best opportunity for me to hear about him. It's really special to me because I didn't get to hear the stories from him, so to be here and see where he was and the place that he really enjoyed is a blessing. I just feel very thankful and blessed to have this experience.
If you want to give your kids a real adventure, send them to our camps in Alaska.
I'd like to welcome you to Camp Lorraine here in Southeast Alaska on Vank Island. Camp Lorraine is one of 3 here in Alaska that serve our community.
Where are our other 2 campers?
A lot of the people here have only been introduced to God because of this camp.
We're coming into Olson's log dump, and we're going to pick up a couple campers for Camp Lorraine.
Transportation out to these different camps is by boat. It can be by float plane, but mostly by boat is how we get out here. It's not connected by any roads.
One of the challenges that we have with running camps in Alaska is you never know how many kids are going to come until the day that we get there to pick them up. So it's always a surprise how many classes we'll have and how many cabins we'll have. But somehow God always works it out. He always sends us the right number.
Have a good week.
What time next Sunday?
Let's shoot for about 9 o'clock.
In the morning?
Yes.
Got kids from Wrangell?
Yeah, 21 I think was the number.
Good, he'll have some playmates.
Yep, we got like 9 from Ketchikan or something.
So it's next Sunday?
Yep.
At 9?
At 9, yep.
Push off that way now?
Have fun.
Sure. That's deep enough, I can go ahead and go here. You got a life jacket? You do have a life jacket.
I'm Andrew Weller, and I'm the only one from Petersburg going out to Camp Lorraine. Woohoo!
A lot of our islands are named for the way they look. This little island behind you, I bet you can't guess it. Yeah, it's named for what it's got on it, 2 trees. When you pass 2 Tree Island, you come around the bend, you're in vision of seeing our camp, Camp Lorraine, here on Vank Island in Southeast Alaska. It's been here for quite a few generations. A lot of the older people have been here at camp and now are sending their kids here.
This summer camp was formulated by a man by the name of Elder Dawson. Elder Dawson wanted a place where young people throughout southeastern Alaska would be able to come and experience Jesus Christ. And so through his dreams and through his hardship, he formulated Vank Island Camp Lorraine Summer Camp. Lorraine is named after his wife. I grew up a heathen. I didn't know who Jesus was. My parents asked me if I wanted to go to a summer camp, and I said sure. So they sent me here to Camp Lorraine, and it was here that I experienced camp for the first time. I learned the songs of the old rugged cross. I heard for the first time, it only takes a spark to get a fire going. And I believe that was the seed that God planted in my life to begin a Christian walk and a Christian conversion. If you'd like to be a counselor or you'd like to participate and work here at a summer camp, just come on up.
So if you're looking for a great summer job, consider working at Alaska camps. We hire 12 to 15 college kids. I'm Lori Hosey, I'm the director. If you need an application, email me, LoriHosey@gmail.com. We hire them and bring them up and tour them around for about 8 weeks all over Alaska. Great summer job. We get you stipends, airfare, room and board, And the colleges that you go to will do a matching scholarship. Some of them even 100%. This is the first time some of these kids have ever heard the name of Jesus, not in a swearing sense. And Bible stories, we tell them Bible stories. They've never heard about creation. They don't know about the cross. They come out here and you'll start telling a Bible story that you think is very familiar to children, and so you cut it off in the middle and say, we'll talk about this tomorrow, and then they just go crazy. No, 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 we got to know what happened to him. So they don't let you leave until they've got the full story. And it's rewarding to be able to share just simple stories from the Bible with them, and then have them repeat it. And also the songs that we sing get stuck in their heads, and they get stuck in ours, unfortunately, sometimes.
I praise the Lord, my soul to keep. I just want to be a sheep. Bad, 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 bad. I don't want to be a Pharisee. No, no, I don't want to be a Pharisee.
I went to summer camps at Camp Tukasquoia out of Big Lake, and Alaska summer camps is where I met Jesus for the first time. Jesus was introducing himself to me. It was the staff members, their devotion and their sacrifice for spending a couple of weeks with all of us, teaching us about Jesus. The young people are at an impressionable age, and the Holy Spirit can really touch their hearts and come to know Jesus as I did.
I'm from Wrangell. I'm loving camp. We love camp!
We're running about 8 classes every couple hours, and they're doing everything from kneeboarding and water skiing.
I'm excited about tubing.
And we've even got some canoes out, crafts classes and tie-dye.
Kids spend their time building forts and doing Survivor Man and baking cakes and decorating them.
Fire.
Then you like go with it.
Bink Island is a rainforest, and you can see there are beautiful trees everywhere with moss, and we actually have a whole campus here with various buildings, and we can see there's a brand new roof on our gym here. We also use this as a chapel and our campfire area. And then on down the way here, we have essentially our mess hall, which is also our lodge. And there's a big, large fire bowl in there where we gather oftentimes on rainy days so the kids can sit in front of a warm fire. We have mostly new cabins, which has been a huge blessing.
Thank you for this day, Lord, the Alaska family. Da-da-da-dum. 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 Da-da-da-dum.
Thank you for this day, Lord.
You may wonder what we eat up here because all of our camps are away from the nearest grocery store. We start in January planning the menu. We start usually in Vancouver, Washington, going to Costco, getting supplies. We watch for sales at Winco. We haul it all up to Seattle, Washington, where we put it on the barge. The barge ships it up. It's at least a month getting it up here. It's a process that starts way back then to get it to here today.
Here at Camp Lorraine, we got a lot of different little projects. Between the moss and the moisture here, things take its toll. Our caretaker's cabin is melting down because of the mold and the moss and everything. That's a project coming up here pretty soon. We have at least one more boys' cabin to take care of. We are about 9 or 10 miles away from the community of Wrangell, Alaska. On behalf of the board members here at Camp Lorraine, we'd like to thank you for your support.
Welcome to Wrangell, Alaska, located in beautiful Southeast. If you were to visit Wrangell, Alaska, you would see many different murals around town depicting native life, our fishing industry, and our past logging industry as well. My name is Chrissy Abrahamson, and I am the assistant manager for the Bare Basics, which is so much more than just a store. We're a ministry. Come on, let me show you around. Well, this is City Dock. Located behind us is the mouth of the Stikine River. This is my beautiful world. I moved here about 14 years ago and absolutely fell in love with Wrangell. But there was one thing that the community of Wrangell was lacking, was a place for our lower income families to buy discount food. So Pastor Howard Williams and his wife Charlene came up with the idea of the Bare Basics. And about 3 years ago, they opened the store. Now, more than a store, the Bare Basics is a ministry. run by the Seventh-day Adventist Church. You know, at one point in my life, my family was struggling and we went without food. But by reaching out to the Bare Basics and to Charlene Williams, they were able to provide us with an emergency food box.
We have such a variety of items here in Bare Basics to meet just about every need that you could possibly want. We have clothes, we have baby items, we have health and beauty supplies, we have candy, we have cake, baked goods, we have canned goods. We just have just about everything you could find at the store. And what's a lot of fun is that everybody on shipment day is in a flurry to come in and see what is new. And we may never get the same thing twice at Bare Basics. It's almost like Christmas. You never know what you're going to get.
I started shopping at the Bare Basics immediately. And about a year ago, I got the opportunity to become an employee at the store. I finally found what God has put me on this earth to do, is to help our community. We provide food boxes to people who are in desperate need of food. We also lend a sympathetic ear to anyone who may be having a hard time. The Bare Basics is a concept that can be achieved in any community in Alaska. And they started off by offering USDA food commodities, which is a food box that you can get once a month. Come on into the store and meet Amy.
And if you could sign that, please.
Alrighty. Here you go.
Thank you.
And thank you so much.
And you have a good day.
All right, thanks.
My name is Amy Ferdinand, and this store is run by a lot of young people. And it's a great ministry and a great place to come to just chit-chat and hang out with everyone. I got started here at the Bare Basics by doing community service hours here. This store is the heart of the community in Wrangell because people that have different situations in their life and you never know what they're going through, and just saying hello to them or talking to them makes a big difference. This is my mom, Anita Ferdinand. In 2012, my mom got diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and she goes to Arizona every couple months to get treatments there. And I help out with my sister whenever she goes, and my dad works at the Silver Bay Logging Company. And it's just a real blessing that she is getting through this. I don't know what I would do without my mom. And I'm just really blessed that God has been with us through this journey, and it's a real blessing to me working here at Bare Basics.
Many kids in Alaska have family crises like Amy's. Won't you help send worthy students to Adventist schools? Donate to the Alaska Conference Worthy Student Fund, 6100 O'Malley Road, Anchorage, Alaska, 99507.
So if you'd like to help us, you can make a donation to the Alaska Conference or the Wrangell Seventh-day Adventist Church.
I am really impressed with the commitment of the local people. For example, the church at Wrangell and at Dillingham and Camp Tuke, to commit their time and energy to these camps locally at the local level. And without them just holding that together, I don't think these camps would exist. But they aren't big enough and strong enough to meet with the repairs that need to happen at these camps. But their commitment to it is fantastic.
We have a camp on a lake called Aleknakik Lake. It's about a 10-mile ride by boat to get to it, but it is remote and beautiful and pristine conditions. The camp's a little bit rustic, I would say, but oh, the kids love it there.
The exciting thing about coming up Camp Polaris is coming to the point out here in Aleknakik and having the mothers put their child on our boat or the barge as we bring them up here to Camp Polaris. Bristol Bay is the heart of fishing in Alaska, and this year, even though fishing was very poor, at church on Sabbath they made an appeal.
What I need is pledges from people.
There's a lot of kids that wanted to come but couldn't afford it.
I've got a list, and those kids are anxiously standing by their phone between now and Tuesday when camp starts for a call from me telling them that I found the money for them to go.
And even though this has been not a very good year for fish and the price isn't where they would like to have it, they made that appeal and had a list of all the potential campers who could come. And if you look around, every single one of these kids are here today because of those fishermen in Bristol Bay. They raised $4,500, and so we want to say a wonderful thank you to them, each one, for making this possible. And if you're watching this, then you'll be able to see students that you actually sponsored.
This is Alaska!
This camp has been around long enough that you have now 3rd and 4th generations that are actually going to this camp.
Hi, my name is Brianna Clark. This is my 3rd year to camp, and we just got done swimming and it was very cold.
This last week, we actually had a parent say, oh, my mother went here and I went here, and now she was bringing her 8-year-old here, so that was kind of exciting.
In these little communities, it's function before fashion.
Hi, my name is Janelle Sundin, and I've been staff here at Polaris for 2 years. This is Camp Polaris out at Dillingham in Bristol Bay. We're starting some group games now, so I should probably go, but before I do, let me explain one thing. I'm wearing a mosquito net to keep the bugs away. There are lots of little gnats here that I gotta stay away from. Anyway, I gotta go, but it's nice to meet you.
Welcome to Camp Polaris. My name is Roderick Stickle. I come from Union College. I take International Rescue and Relief there. My home is in Alberta, Canada. And what drew me to the Alaska camps really was just the chance to explore Alaska and get to have a great time here with all the people.
For our camp, we hired the college kids, which carry the load. We call them the brawn. And then we hire the brains. And we have cooks. We always need cooks and camp nurses and maintenance people and people that can drive and fix boats.
I'm Chip Miller. I've been out here at Alaska camps for 3 years now. This is my first year as full-time waterfront. I enjoy dealing with the kids. The Hosies are probably one of the other main reasons I come out. They're very good with what they do. They've been doing it a long time, and they really put together a good program. Every year it's a little different. This year we got a really strong staff, I would have to say. They're pretty good. We all get together and just kind of form a good team and try and make this happen, and God leads the rest. And we're just trying to show them God through our actions in itself. So as long as we keep our sights on God, we're going to portray Him, and we're going to try and get them to see that through us. We're all under construction. We're all being worked on. Nobody's perfect out here. We just got to make the right difference for these people and for ourselves at the same time.
This is have to be next to God's country up here.
It's amazing what talents will come out of people when they get up here.
This is how we get them up in the morning. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Have a great week here. We got a lot of fun, so many good things planned. We canoeing, we got crafts.
But one of the challenges we do have of being in this part of Alaska is that the campers, or the ones that come to camp here, they come from a lot of diverse families. We have mostly Native children in this area, and they come from a lot of drug and alcohol abuse. A lot of families that live together for many generations.
And the teachers will have these kids write essays. And I had one of them tell me one time, she's a 6th grade teacher, and she said, every time I ask my kids to do a writing assignment, it's all about camp, things that happen at camp. And she said, let's move on past camp and find something else to write about. And she said they couldn't do it. Their little heaven was camp, and that's what they write about. It's their happy life at camp.
We fall in love with them. They're just a great bunch of kids. One of the things that we need here would be a landing craft, a small landing craft that we could haul a backhoe in here. So we could haul one during the summer and do some work around here, because we got areas we want to get leveled off so we can put in some nice bathrooms, a couple more cabins. I know that we have some cabins over here that the people in Dillingham have raised money and we built those a couple years ago, but we want to replace all these other cabins, and we need to get some leveling done, and so it'll be a real challenge. So that's one of the things that we're praying for right now and trying to save our money for, is to get a small 23-foot or 24-foot landing craft.
And I think if there was nothing out here but tents, these people would still have camp. They're not going to fold because we don't support them. They still have camps. They believe in their mission for these kids, and with or without our support, they're going to have camp out here. They're going to teach these kids about Jesus.
Come next year to Alaska and you can experience this beauty and all these little bugs that keep flying around my head too.
Please support Alaska Summer Camps.
This year, the Alaska Conference decided that it would be fun to have all the teachers come for the camp meeting weekend at Camp Lorraine Camp.
If you are an Adventist teacher or you know an Adventist teacher looking for an opportunity that will be like none other, have them contact the Alaska Conference. Go online, call them up. In Alaska, we have 6 schools with 16 teachers making a difference every day in the lives of kids.
I used to work for a public school, and we had day-long conventions where we had to sit down around tables and collaborate and talk about all kinds of new and interesting laws and policies and procedures and go through binders. But this year, for the Alaska Conference, we got to go to a glacier, and we got to see harbor seals with their pups on icebergs floating out in the middle of the glacier, and that was really fun. It's really great. I got to know my colleagues a little bit more than just sitting in chairs and you know, having presenters. So I thought that was a really unique and cool feature that they would pay for us to come out here and just talk more about God's plan for education and for our schools.
For My Alaska, this has been Ken Crawford. Thanks so much for coming with me. If you enjoyed watching this series, if you're interested in what you've seen or what we're doing in Alaska, go to the Alaska website, alaskaconference.org, and there you'll find additional information.